Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man, and as always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. Today, I thought I would do kind of an interesting, fun video, because the one I just did prior to this was a serious topic, cancer. So I thought I'd kind of lighten it up, and here it is. This video is entitled "Some of My Best Favorite Concert Movies" or music movies. And what that means is movies that were about bands or just, music groups. So I'm going to give you kind of a quick list because, I can make this really long, but I'm not. The first one, and a lot of people won't be surprised because when I do these Prince videos lately, people think that I don't like Prince or I'm being negative towards him. No, he's a very talented guy, but we're not going to get into that. But Purple Rain, Purple Rain was like a concert. I actually went, that movie came out in the 80s. I went to see that movie about 6 times. It was like going to a concert, repeating that. The musical performances were fantastic. The storyline was pretty good and pretty deep, and a lot of people kind of missed, a lot of stuff kind of went over people's heads about what was taking place in that movie. But I'm not here to analyze the movie. I'm here to just to say that it made my list of one of my favorite concert or band, I guess that's a better term, band movies or groups movies, musical groups movies. So Prince, Purple Rain made the list. Number 2 is, and I kind of stumbled upon this one kind of accidentally years ago when I went to the video store. I didn't see anything that I recognized and think that I would like, so I just started grabbing stuff. And I grabbed a movie called The Idolmaker. And Idolmaker, I think, was made like in the early 80s, if I'm not mistaken. And it had the late Ray Sharkey, who unfortunately passed away of AIDS in 1993. It was based on the true story of Frankie Avalon's and Fabian's manager. And I believe that their manager first discovered Frankie Avalon, I think, working at a pizza parlor or something. He's like, "You're a good looking guy, and we can do some things musically and take you to the top." So he groomed this guy, or Frankie Avalon, and Frankie Avalon became a big star, still a big star to this day, an idol, and a lot of people didn't think that he could replicate that success with another person. And guess what? He did. He found Fabian and took Fabian to the top, So this guy had a gift or a gift of creating talent, or should I say shaping and molding it, because these guys were like diamond in the rough, and he did what he needed to do and took them to the top. Really good movie, great songs in the movie, great performances by Ray Sharkey and these other people that kind of portrayed the Frankie Avalon and the Fabian. One of my favorite movies. I've watched this movie several times too, and and actually this is 2 movies. It's a sequel of the other one, Eddie and the Crusaders. I've watched this movie at least 20 times because of the performances. It's interesting. The star Michael Parr, if I don't know if I'm pronouncing the last name right or whatever, but when he was auditioning for the part, they asked him, "Can you sing?" He's like, "Absolutely." "Can you play guitar?" "Sure." And he couldn't do neither one of them. And but I think he gave one of the best lip sync and guitar syncing, if you want to call it, or air guitar performances I've ever seen. Because when you watch this movie, he looks like he's actually singing. I'm looking at the veins in his neck when he's hitting or lip syncing these high notes, and it's like, he did an excellent job, because most of us, even musicians, will say, "Man, I think that guy does sing and he's playing guitar." A good movie. It was basically about a guy, and it kind of reminded me of Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, as far as just the structure of the band and the sound, because there were a lot of great songs that were actually performed by, I think his last name is Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. I forgot his first name, but this guy can really sing. And he actually did all the music and the soundtrack, him and his band. It wasn't Eddie and the Crusaders. But the movie was basically about a guy who formed the band, and he had a tremendous success with a couple of hits on the first album that they released. And he wanted to do something different, which is really realistic, because me personally, when I record this stuff, I don't want the stuff that I did this year to sound like the stuff I'm going to do next year, the year after. You do want to replicate a hit or your success, but you don't want to do the same thing over. even though maybe the audience want to hear another version or version of Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, you know. But very realistic because what he wanted to do on the second album was something totally different from what he did on the first album. And it took him about a year to put together this album, which was kind of ahead of its time, the style and the sound. And when he presented it to the record company, they were not happy. They was like, what happened to that hit type of music that you did on the first album? He said, I'm doing something different. They flatly refused to release it. He got real pissed off, and he faked his death. And he stayed hidden for 10 years, and then in the second movie, he resurfaced as another guy. But eventually, at the end of the movie, they realized he was the first guy. But great musical performances, great songs, great singing, great acting, great lip syncing. You know, one of my all-time favorite music movies. You know, two of my all-time favorite music movies. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I thought this might be interesting. Until next time, take care and thanks for watching.